Hey Sandy. Okay, so I'm gonna have you do 5 things, but the first 2 are probably the most important and most helpful for your back. So the first one you're gonna do, you're gonna lay on your back, just flat out. And so what you're gonna do is find your hip bones. And so this is like a sacral reset. So you're gonna take your hands and kind of cross them over, and you're gonna push on your hip bones, and you're gonna like spread them apart. So it's a gentle push out. And so what that's doing is just loosening the ligaments in your low back, where your SI joint and everything is. So you're kind of pushing your hip bones apart from each other. So you're gonna push those bones apart, hold for maybe 3 to 5 seconds, and then you're gonna take your hands on the outside and push your hips back together. And then you're gonna march your feet forward and back while you're squeezing in. So if that makes any sense at all. So you're pushing your hip bones apart for 3 to 5 seconds, then you're squeezing your hip bones together as you're moving your hips in this position. So they're not going side to side, they're going up and down, like you're trying to hike your hip to your shoulder. So you'll actually see when you're laying down, your one foot will get longer than the other as you do it. Okay, so once again, you're gonna lay on the floor. You're gonna take your fingertips and push your hip bones apart, hold for 5 seconds. And then you're gonna take your hip bones and squeeze them together. And as you squeeze them together, you're gonna march your hips up and down and do about 5 on each side. Okay, then just relax for a second and do that twice. Then you're gonna do a psoas release. So your psoas muscle attaches to your spine, but it starts kind of by your belly button and then it runs down. So what we're gonna do is find the hip bone and find your belly button, and you're gonna find the space between, and your psoas is typically right there. Where we're gonna release it anyway. But you're gonna have both knees bent for this one. So you're gonna find that space, and you can kind of, if you lift that side foot up, you'll find it'll pop into your hand. So you'll feel where that is. So you can use either hand, but I like to typically use the opposite hand because I like to kind of pull towards the opposite side a little bit to release. Zeke wanted to come say hi to you. And so you're gonna put pressure there, just kind of down and in, kind of like a 45-degree angle. And just take a nice deep breath in, slow exhale out. And then you can kind of give that knee a little wiggle from side to side as you continue to hold that pressure on your psoas. And then from there, you can drop the knee out. Actually, I'm gonna have you inhale first, and then exhale, drop the knee out and straighten the leg out, reaching out through your heel. And then inhale, slide the leg back up. Exhale, drop the leg out, reach it down and all the way out through your heel. And you'll do that maybe 3 to 5 times on that side. And then once you do that, you can kind of move your hand around a little bit if you find a tighter spot in there, because your psoas does run that whole length down through your pelvic, through your pubis. So just kind of work all through there. And if you find a tight spot, like just focus on that. If you feel any like heartbeat type feeling, take your fingers off of it and move to a different spot. So you did that 5 times on one side, you'll do the same thing on the other. So you find your belly button, you find your hip bone, you go halfway between the two, put your fingers in there, go kind of down and on a 45-degree angle. Just gentle, it's not, you're not digging in there. And once again, you're gonna rock the knee from side to side. Take a couple deep breaths there, really focusing on the exhale and relaxing with the exhale. So I'll kind of turn this way a little bit. Not that you can see too much, but again, hip bone, belly button. Kind of take the space halfway between, and then you'll put your fingers there. And then doing the knee rock from side to side, and then out and straighten as you exhale. And again, if you need to move your fingers around to get a better feel, you can do that. Inhale, exhale, drop the knee out, straighten the leg, reach all the way out through the heel, and then bring it back up. And again, do that 3 to 5 times on each side. And then you're gonna work your iliacus. So you find that your hip bone again, and you can kind of hook in on the underneath the hip bone, and you're gonna kind of drag your fingers underneath that hip bone and drag it up. So this is you have your iliopsoas. So we already hit the psoas part, but we want to hit the ilium of that. So once again, you find that hip bone there, and you're just gonna take your fingers inside and kind of drag along the inside. And as you drag, very slow, do that knee rock again from side to side. And you might find that might be tense or tender. So just go nice and easy, nice and slow, but dragging up and out. You can kind of pull from the low back too, which might help if you have some of that low back guarding and tension, to just kind of pull out and up towards your side. So do that a couple times on one side, a couple times on the other side, just to kind of loosen up all of your the iliopsoas muscle itself. And then from there, you're gonna flip over. Once you do all of those, like I said, those 2 are probably the most important, because it will help release everything that's kind of inflaming the lower back, the SI joint, and kind of pulling it out. Because a lot of times what will happen is your SI joint your sacrum will have torsion in it, and one side will kind of pull more towards the front, like anterior tilt on the one side, and the other side will posterior tilt, and then it just creates all this friction and tightness back there. And then, so the next one that I would do is the McKenzie Pressup. So you just lay on your belly, relax your arms at your sides. So kind of like doing a cobra in yoga, but you're just gonna have your arms here and gently kind of press yourself up just to where you can. Sometimes you might only be able to hold here, and that's okay, but you wanna just breathe into that. Nice slow exhales. And then if you can do, 10 to 20, just pressing yourself up and coming back down. So you're just kind of lengthening out the front of your body as you do those. So 10 to 20, and then you're gonna go into your cat-cow. But the way I want you to do it is to sit back a little bit more into like more of a child's pose. So you're not gonna be up on all fours doing it. You're gonna actually sit back so you can focus more on just that lower back and getting decompression through the lower back. So the lower lumbar spine and the sacrum. So you're just gonna kind of work through that lower portion. And if you can get to that rounded back, really breathe into the rounded back to kind of open up that space, and just kind of work through those. Maybe do about 10 of those. And then if you want, you can finish out with the hip flexor stretch with a chair. So just placing your one foot up on a chair, back leg is perfectly straight, squeezing your butt, and then shifting forward and breathing here into the front of your hip. You can bring the arms up, you can reach over a little bit, but you're gonna shift forward. You can give your hips a little rock from side to side, and just do a few breaths in that position. Again, because everything's so jacked up right now, you really wanna focus on those slow, deep breaths to kind of remind your body that it's okay, it can go through this motion, it's a safe motion for it to do, and that will help to deregulate some of that pain and the pain sensors that are going there. So give that a try. Hopefully it helps. Let me know how it goes. And if you have any other questions, let me know. Okay. All right.